recording? Okay. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
The scene is a guy, the name is Andy, and one detective is discussing in the court. A guy have a suspicion of who the guy was thought he killed 2 people by gun, but it's something interesting for him.
The scene we're going to perform is about in court. This movie is about the background is prison. This is Andy, and he committed he was sentenced like a lifelong sentence based on inaccurate evidence. And the main point of this movie is like freedom and hope. It's like the movie illustrates how main characters aim to be free. Even we always like confine ourselves in a small room, even though we have external freedom. But these guys in prison, so they don't have a freedom, they don't have enough food or money, but he always try to pursue freedom. So it's like yes. Let's watch the movie.
Mr. Dufresne, describe the confrontation you had with your wife the night that she was murdered.
It was very bitter. She said she was glad I knew, that she hated all the sneaking around. She said she wanted a divorce in Reno.
What was your response?
I told her I would not grant one.
I'll see you in hell before I see you in Reno. Those were the words you used, Mr. Dufresne, according to the testimony of your neighbors.
If they say so. I really don't remember if I was upset.
What happened after you argued with your wife?
She packed a bag. She packed a bag to go and stay with Mr. Quinn.
Glenn Quentin, golf pro at the Snowden Hills Country Club. The man you had recently discovered was your wife's lover. Did you follow her?
Went to a few bars first. Later, I drove to his house to confront them. They weren't home, so I parked in the turnout and waited.
With what intention?
I'm not sure. I was confused, drunk. I think mostly I wanted to scare them.
When they arrived, you went up to the house and murdered them.
No, I was sobering up. I got back in the car and I drove home to sleep it off. Along the way, I stopped and I threw my gun into the Royal River. I feel I've been very clear on this point.
Well, where I get hazy is where the cleaning woman shows up the following morning and finds your wife in bed with her lover riddled with .38 caliber bullets. Now, does that strike you as a fantastic coincidence, Mr. Dufresne, or is it just me?
Yes, it does.
Yet you still maintain that you threw your gun into the river before the murders took place. That's very convenient.
It's the truth.
The police dragged that river for 3 days and nary a gun was found. So there could be no comparison made between your gun and the bullets taken from the blood-stained corpses of the victims. And that also is very convenient, isn't it, Mr. Dufresne?
Since I am innocent of this crime, sir, I find it decidedly inconvenient that the gun was never found.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard all the evidence. You know all the facts. We have the accused at the scene of the crime. We have footprints, tire tracks, we have bullets strewn on the ground which bear his fingerprints, a broken bourbon bottle, likewise with fingerprints, and most of all, we have a beautiful young woman and her lover lying dead in each other's arms. They had sinned. But was their crime so great as to merit a death sentence? Now, while you think about that, think about this. A revolver holds 6 bullets, not 8. I submit that this was not a hot-blooded crime of passion. That at least could be understood, if not condoned. No. This was revenge of a much more brutal and cold-blooded nature. Consider this: 4 bullets per victim. Not 6 shots fired, but 8. That means that he fired the gun empty and then stopped to reload so that he could shoot each of them again. An extra bullet per lover, right in the head.
You strike me as a particularly icy and remorseless man, Mr. Dufresne. It chills my blood just to look at you. By the power vested in me by the state of Maine, I hereby order you to serve 2 life sentences back to back. 1 for each of your victims. So be it.
This is our scene, but technical problem happened. We prepared for English subtitle, but it doesn't show. I was
That's okay. No
embarrassed.
problem.
Do you guys understand the part of the scene? The main point is this. Actually he didn't kill his wife and lover, but there are many evidence such as footprints and bullets with his fingerprints, and he claims that he threw the gun into the river, but the police searched for 3 days in order to find the gun, but there was no gun in the river. So he's like a very, he said he's very inconvenient, but he was very embarrassed. Yes. And Karen, do you have script?
Yeah.
I need 1 more people, so could you read the judge's sentence?
Yeah, I guess be the judge. Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't need a chair. The kids
No, you don't. You need to just have a seat. Okay.
Don't forget that.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Dufresne, describe the confrontation with your wife the night she was murdered.
It was very bitter. She said she glad I knew that I hated all the sneaking around. She said she wanted a divorce agreement.
What's your response?
I told her I would not grant one.
I'll see you in hell before I see you in Reno. Those are the words you used, Mr. Dufresne, according to the testimony of your neighbors.
If they say so, I really don't remember. I was upset.
What happened after you argued with your wife?
She packed a bag. She packed a bag and went to stay with Mr. Clinton.
Glenn Quinton, the golf pro at the Snowden Hills Country Club, the man you had recently discovered was your wife's lover. Did you follow her?
I went a few bars first. Later, I drove to his house to confront them. They weren't home, so I parked in the tunnel and waited.
With one intention?
I'm not sure. I was confused, drunk. I think I wanted to scare them.
When they arrived, you went up to the house and murdered them?
No, I was hovering up. I got back into the car and drove home to sleep it off. Along the way, I stopped and threw my gun into the river. I feel I am being very clear on this.
Well, where I get hazy is when the cleaning woman shows up the following morning and finds your wife with your lover riddled with 38 caliber bullets. So how does that strike as a fantastic coincidence, Mr. Dufresne, or is it just me?
Yes, it does.
Yet you still maintain that you threw your gun into the river before the murders took place. I forgot. River. The police. That's very convenient.
It's a truth.
The police dragged that gun, but the area gun was found, so there could be no comparison between your gun and your bullets thrown on the ground, which bears sorry. The bullets taken from the blood-stained corpses of the victims, and that also is very convenient, isn't it, Mr. Dufresne?
Since I am innocent of this crime, sir, I found it decidedly inconvenient. The gun was never found.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard all the evidence, you know all the facts. We have the accused at the scene of crime, we have footprints, tire tracks, bullets thrown on the ground, which bears his fingerprints, and a broken bourbon bottle, likewise with his fingerprints, and most of all, we have beautiful young woman and her lover lying dead in each other's arms. They had sinned, but was their crime so great as to merit her death sentence? And while you think about that, think about this. A revolver holds 6 bullets, not 8. I submit that this was not a hot-blood crime of passion. They could at least be understood, if not condoned. No, this was revenge of much more brutal and cold-blooded in nature. Consider this. That's 4 bullets per victim, not 6 shots fired, but 8. That means he fired the gun empty and then stopped to reload, and they could shoot them, each of them again. An extra bullet per lover, right in the head. Judge's point.
Mr. Dufresne, you strike me as a particularly icy and remorseless man. It chills my blood just to look at you. By the power vested in me, by the country of Canada, I hereby order you to serve 2 life sentences, back to back, 1 for each of your victims. So be it.
Yes.